Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L coming in with one of the semi-regular Dr. Stone videos, the ones that look at the differences in the Dr. Stone episodes. This time specifically, we're looking at episode 15 and comparing it to chapters 39, 40, and 41. Anyway, you probably know the drill. We're going to look at the more notable changes, and we're going to talk about them, point them out, see if there's any kind of message that we get from the changes as to why they made those changes. Point is, it's a nitpick type video. We're going to nitpick everything. Well, within reason. It's mostly going to be the important stuff, like small things like extra added material that help scenes transition. We're not going to talk about that. So one thing I want to say before we get into it, episode 15 was pretty fast paced, and the changes this time around reflect that. This time around, there are more omissions than there are additions. Anyway, let's just get into it. The first notable change is an omission where Gen gives exposition on the type of person that Ginro is. This occurred right around when Ginro was revealing his true colors. The anime just omitted this panel. The next omission is in Ginro's spiel. The characters in the background during it have comments, with Suika complaining about the manpower needed, and the girls pointing out that there's not enough women in the village in response to Ginro's harem plan. The anime replaced the dialogue with grunts and sighs. We also missed a small portion of narration. And while we're also on this page, we also had identifiable characters in this shot instead of nondescript faces. I have a note about that. Stay tuned. Another omission. They removed Kaseki's dialogue, where he commented that Ginro was worse than Magma in some ways. Next omission, you start to see that the anime was removing any moment that was giving exposition on Ginro. During the scene where Suika was commenting that the village came together, we originally got this scene where the village was united by the defeat of Ginro, and then Suika starting to believe that it was all Ginro's master plan. He became the Lelouch, he became the person that people could hate, so that when he went down, everyone could be together in that hatred. People just denied that. It was a comedic relief moment. I'm not sure if you got that. Anyway, point still stands. The Ginro exposition was reduced for the episode equivalent. Moving on, special bonus detail, Soyuz is in this shot. Anyway, another interesting change that you may have already noticed is best illustrated in this shot. Notice the characters in the background. Then, here's the anime shot. The anime has the better shot. It was after watching the anime that I noticed all the mostly indistinguishable characters that the manga was initially using. So all I have to say to this is good job anime. Good job adding in that detail. As to why this happened in the manga, honestly, hard to say. As early as chapter 17, we had 40 characters identified in the village. So my guess as to why the people in the background are so nondescript is just, it was probably a time saver. I mean, it's probably easier to draw just these random normal looking people than it is all the distinguishable designs that chapter 17 produced. Anyway, here's where we finish the chapter 39 material. They moved really fast, man. And with that, we move into the opening and into the chapter 40 material. Okay, next small change is another omitted panel. What the anime ultimately skipped here was another comedic scene, this time removing the setup for the gag that was Senku being an evil person. Moving on, next skip detail occurs during the item collection step. Kohaku has a dialogue indicating that she went to get sponges, and Senku notes that the sponges are going to be used for filtration. The anime just kind of glossed over that. They just put it on a montage, so we didn't get to see any of this information. This is just, I guess they assume that we're smart enough to figure out the sponges were supposed to be for filtration. Last change for chapter 40 comes in the moments before Senku feeds Ruri the drug. The anime added Chrome's optimistic hyping up of the medicine. In the manga, we had a pretty straight shot to just Ruri taking the drug. And I know I implied I wouldn't note small scenes of anime expansion, but this is the only real change that's in the chapter 41 material. The anime added more scenes showing Ruri's recovery. The notable added bits specifically were Ruri hugging Kohaku, to having that nice little sisterly moment, and Ruri's silent words to her father. Those were added by the anime, and I ultimately think that that was a good job anime. They did really well in making that moment more powerful. Anyway, for this episode, I really think, and not just because I was watching it at double speed while I was doing this, but I really think it was a fast-paced episode. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that, well, they adapted the material very faithfully. Special shout out to that whole bit with Ginro being a sleaze. They presented that so well. Like, wow, I was really blown away as I was seeing the pages coming to life in the anime. Anyway, that's the big changes. I think this is one of those weeks where you can definitely say good job anime. I think the majority of the things that they did are improvements. Yeah, it's unfortunate that we lost some of the exposition on Ginro, but hey, what can you do? You get the point though. He's a bit of a sleaze sometimes. Anyway, let me know what you thought down below, everyone, and I'm gonna call it there. Till next time, I hope you have an absolutely great day.